Hello guys, this is Dr. Lior Bar-El. Today I got some interesting news. I mean, really not surprising at all. The major news here is that Nintendo right now is filing lawsuits, as usual like they did before, on any ROM sites, any type of thing that they always go after, but specifically this one ROM site that actually, serves like tons of games from every system possible. But right now they're obviously marketing on their territory because you see, like I told you, and we're going to go into this right now, but they're basically going to sue them for copyright and copyright infringement laws and a bunch of things. They claim that they cost them a lot of money and damages. Obviously costing them money in business because people are getting the ROMs where you could play it on an emulator, let's say at better frame rates, to be honest with you, and also on anti-aliasing, which the Switch does not have or any other system doesn't. Now, if you remember, there's the Nintendo emulator, the Nintendo 64, the GameCube emulator, the GameCube emulator, what do you call that? Wii emulator, and all of these things, and I'm sure a Switch emulator if it's not already in the works. I myself, I love emulators, I love ROMs, but I don't have them unless I own them. I was always very respectful to the to the community because I don't want that. I saw what happens in PSP when somebody hacks it. Suddenly the business goes down and it's it dies. The PlayStation Vita, which just died out because of Sony's stupidity. Not really that. So sorry about that. But what was it? Dreamcast, when they figured out that, remember the boot CD and all of that stuff. And people were running emulators on it and all these things. Now, it's so funny because, like, let's say, when they had the Nintendo Wii U running Genesis games or stuff like that, obviously they didn't care about that because it makes them more marketable. So people would have bought a Wii, so they could play all these games and whatever, but you could still play it on PC and all of these things. So they're basically going after them. And now why? Now, they've done it all the time, but again, Nintendo, you are extremely stupid because you had the opportunity to release a virtual console. If you released a virtual console, people would be, first off, hackers. I mean, they would probably still come out with whatever ways to hack it and that, but not everybody now really wants to hack their Nintendo Switch unless they have two Switches. But the thing is, if you guys released these Nintendo games, Super Nintendo games, even Wii games, that would have been great, on a virtual console, you guys, would have had the money long before, any of this would have, I mean, these ROMs existed since the beginning, of the computer age. I mean, I remember in 1996, I was downloading emulators. They had emulators for, like, other types of things, Atari or something like that. And then later on in 2000, you pretty much had an emulator for even arcades and everything, even before 2000. And the thing is, it just doesn't work. These lawsuits don't work. Now, you could sue this company, that came out, I'm not going to discuss it, but came out with their website, and you could sue them for millions of dollars of damages. It doesn't really matter because you're still going to have them in torrent sites. You're still going to have them in other websites. You're still going to, so yeah, you're trying to scare them off, bully them off, so other ones say, oh, we're not doing it, oh, we don't care. But you're forgetting one thing. Some countries operate copyright laws totally differently, and totally different. And if they're doing it from their countries or whatever, where it's not even illegal really, or they don't press charges against it, you're still screwed, and that's going to still be able to be downloaded and still be able to go out there. Somebody could go out there, get the emulator, get the ROMs, get the BIOS for certain ROMs, like the Sega Dreamcast or whatever. The thing is, by law, you're not allowed to own these games unless you have the actual cartridge. Then you're allowed to keep a backup copy of it. That is the actual law and the loophole here. The thing is, they could market it that way in court and actually win if they're going to say, well, we have a disclaimer on, which a lot of people did back in the 2000 and mid-2000, where they said, well, only if you guys own, for disclaimer reasons, this copy, you're allowed to download so-and-so. This is why they never succeed. So what they do is they actually never succeed in lawsuits until they press on. So basically what I mean by that is, they will have their lawyers constantly calling you, and you're not going to be able to work. You're not going to be able to do anything. You're constantly going to be, lawsuit after lawsuit, appeal after appeal. Your whole life is going to be fighting in the court, and you're not going to have anything, at all to, you need to be either retired with nothing to do in your life to deal with that crap. And but otherwise, you're pretty much screwed. Your entire life is going to be capitalized by these lawsuits. And that's what they do. So I don't really think it'll work. If these guys have a disclaimer, I didn't check their site, but if they have a disclaimer, I don't think that will work technically in a legal way. I remember in early 2000, I read like so much about this crap. I researched like crazy about disclaimers and copyrights and all that. And you'd be surprised how many countries could actually serve you ISOs of games illegally in the United States. Let's say it's illegal, but in their countries, it's either not illegal or they don't even press, they don't press charges. And they serve it, everywhere, worldwide. So, to be honest, you're not going to scare anybody with this Nintendo. What I would recommend you do is fight with knowledge. And what I mean by, with knowledgeable action. Now, what I mean by that is come out with a freaking virtual console like you promised all of us. And yes, you did. You promised us before launch. Every one of you guys in the Nintendo reps were saying, no, the virtual console will come later on. It'll come later. It won't come right now. It won't come in release. It'll come after, months after. And then now you pretty much say, screw the virtual console. We're just going to have a subscription service, which is so stupid. And this is exactly what you guys are doing because you're not giving the capability of owning these games. These games will only be yours probably as long as you're subscribed, but they won't be your games. And that is the stupidity behind it because that's what hackers do and say, you know what? Now that we hacked the Switch, let's come out with emulators and you'll be able to play ROMs that are yours forever. But a person wouldn't be tempted to hack so much if, let's say, they wanted to play Super Nintendo Donkey Kong Country, for example, on the Switch. If you guys had a virtual console, I wouldn't want to go through the risk of being banned on my Nintendo Switch. Okay, and I know some people who have single Switches, not two, and they don't care about being banned. They're like, oh, we're not going to get banned, and they're not, and then suddenly they do, or whatever. But the point is, and the people I know didn't even get banned, but I'm saying the point is a person wouldn't be tempted into doing it if, let's say, they had, hey, guys, we have a Donkey Kong Country right now, the game you want to play. We have it right now for you to download for $5, $10. Something like that would be awesome. And then a person would say, you know what, it's only $10 or it's only $5, $10, whatever. I'm not going to risk my Nintendo Switch getting banned if I do, for $10, for $5, $10. I'm not going to do that. You see, when you do things like that, you're not tempting people into hacking their device, which, to be honest with you, if a person can't afford your game and is actually hacking and is willing to risk their system being hacked for, being blocked for $5 or $10, that means they didn't have money to buy your games in the first place. And it doesn't matter. You're not going to prevent, it's not really costing you in your business because they're not going to buy your game anyway. That's not going to happen. And they're not going to invest in an old game like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, when they could save their money up and buy a AAA game that's modern and stuff like that. So again, the only thing this is affecting is your lame brain decisions to do away with virtual consoles. So when you're doing that, people are like, you know what, this is bullshit. Because they promised me a virtual console, so screw it. You know what we're going to do? We're going to go out and download and emulate. We're going to hack our device, download an emulator, download the ROMs, stuff that in, and have what they promised us. And the customer is right. You guys actually lied. That's what you did. The reps lied and said these things. Like they lied about it works with every USB cable. And then suddenly, an update is released and boom, the switches from launch date or close to launch date, as I proved to you guys, were the ones that were being bricked. So that's the thing that they have to realize. Their lame brain decisions actually really costing them. And this isn't gonna happen. They're not threatening anybody with this because you're gonna make a lawsuit against this company and they're gonna be like, okay, well, you have a billion other companies all the way around, even in countries that it's legal, they have no laws against copyright, and they're gonna be serving it, and it doesn't make a difference. And you could download it and it'll be available to everyone. You could torrent it, you could download it, you could even pay someone money. There's even services out there that if you don't want to risk, or if you don't want to risk your computer, they have like from cable modems or whatever, from cable companies. They actually could tell you, oh, you know, what you did is illegal. We're not going to press charges, but you get a warning, and then they do press charges or whatever. So you don't even need to do that. A person could go online right now, purchase a DVDs, even on eBay, I think, or anywhere, and purchase DVDs loaded with ROMs and games on DVDs for like $100. You'll get every game known to man, from arcade, Super Nintendo, everything, even $50 even. There's people even $30 that are doing this service. So, I mean, you got to think about that. So there's always outlets. You're not limiting anything, and you're not scaring anyone when you're doing it. The only issue is the fact that you guys don't realize that due to your lack of service and lying to your customers, people are going out there and saying, screw you, we're just doing things ourselves. Now, the ROMs obviously existed since the beginning of whatever, so that's not really tied into that. But people that want to play it on the Switch, yes, it is tied into that, because guess what? They're hacking their systems to get their emulators implemented into the system, and then downloading the games and so on and so forth, and being able to play these games. You see the point? That's the problem. You saw what Sega did right now, and I hope they continue and actually make a vast library. They're going with Genesis. They're going with this so far. I mean, they're announcing it, but everybody wants to see Dreamcast being portable. And I hope that they do come out with that from Shenmue and on. I mean, even though there was some, like, you know, rumors, I don't trust rumors, but whatever. But if they don't come out with that, obviously the hacking community will come out with a Dreamcast emulator. And that's it. But you see, this is where it comes down to. I don't want to hack my Switch. Okay, even though I love homebrew, I love to play emulators and stuff of games that I already have. I have a Sega Saturn, I have all that. If I could get Sega Saturn on it, I would love it. But you see, the point is, I'm not going to risk my system being blocked or screwed up, you know, especially when the, you know, their custom firmware is not really fully developed. I don't care what anybody says. It's not like it was, let's say, on the PSP. So not everybody really wants to jump on that wagon. And if you're gonna make these lame brain decisions, Nintendo, you're gonna start making it very enticing for people to start hacking their Switch. And then when there's a demand, eventually they will release a kick butt custom firmware like they did on the PSP, and nobody's gonna even care about anything. And they're gonna use that as like those game parks system where you can play every emulator on it. So that's the point. So Nintendo, if you want to combat this, you know, the only thing you have to do is release a virtual console with a vast amount, a library, and I don't know, you know, you will make a lot of money off it, charging $5 or $10. Make it less enticing for a person to jump ship, or, you know, go on the hacking train. And to the rest of you guys out there, all the people, all the fans of Nintendo like myself, we always support the product. We know how it is. And I think we all can agree on that we pretty much got screwed when Nintendo promised us that, and pretty much made the wrong, you know, a left turn right there and said, screw you. And that's basically what they said, and said, oh no, we're going to do a subscription service. We don't even know how the heck this is going to turn out, but Nintendo missed out on a lot of money. This is, again, why their stocks are crashing slowly. I'm waiting for it to rise up like they did. Even though they're doing great in the American market, it's not well in the worldwide market. And again, in the worldwide market, you're going to have a bunch of people hacking their systems and downloading games for free. And you can't do anything about it. But again, Virtual Console, a person would say, you know what? I don't want to risk, you know, my Nintendo Switch getting hacked, banned for $5 or $10. I'm not going to care about that. You know, I like only a fistful of games on this that I want to play on that. I'm not going to bother hacking this system. I'm going to buy it for $5 or $10. You understand? But the thing is, the fact that you guys are not doing Virtual Console and you're doing all of these things, you're basically inviting the hacking community to say, well, you know what, you screwed us, so screw you. We're going to come out with our own way to implement emulators onto the system with ROMs and everything. And I think right now Nintendo is seeing the writing on the wall in terms of like what's going on with the hacking community that they're advancing, and because of their stupid lies and, you know, to the customers, and because of that they're becoming more and more popular, and people are getting less and less afraid of hacking their Nintendo Switch, and they're seeing it down the line that it could spell doom for them. So what are they doing? Even though they went against you know, ROM distributors all the time, but now they're really pushing hard, suing like millions of dollars in damages, which is like ridiculous, because they're never going to win that lawsuit. But especially if these guys put a disclaimer on, but they're never going to win it. But the thing is, it's going to be so funny to see these millions of dollars of lawsuits that they're doing to try to scare people off, instead of doing what is obviously, what you should do obvious is make it less enticing for somebody to hack by actually releasing a virtual console, which is like your own freaking emulator that allows you to play on the go, and that's it. Also, I don't want to pay a subscription service because I do most of my damn gaming on the subway, and I'm in New York City. We don't have Wi-Fi everywhere under the tunnel. I play most of my gaming on the train too, because I got a long ride. I like to play my games on the train. If there's no Wi-Fi connection, I can't play that damn freaking game. You understand? And that becomes extremely, it pisses me off. It kind of reminds me of those games that are released for the iPhone or for the Note that I have, for the Samsung Note. When you get these games and you download them on Android or whatever market, what happens is you end up going on, in the subway, and you can't play the game until you can log into the internet. I don't want to see something stupid like that. That would be extremely dumb. And again, I think nobody wants to see that. They want to be able to play anywhere. They want to be able to play even if they don't have Wi-Fi. Okay, and yes, there's a lot of people that don't have Wi-Fi. There are worldwide. Okay, so you guys got to think about these things and make it less enticing for people to go ahead and hack their device. Okay, that's all I got to say about that. It's my strategy to you, Nintendo, and to all Nintendo fans like myself. Just wanted you to know what's going on out there. So yeah, they're trying to flex their muscle right now. They always did, but now it's like in the million categories. Most likely they're not going to win, but you see they're pushing for all of this. So any of you guys that love your ROMs or whatever, I would recommend, especially if you have the original copy and you want a backup copy, download them. Get like a bunch of them on your computer so you can back them up just in case you lose your system. I have my Nintendo still. I have my Super Nintendo. I have all my systems. But if I want to play it on a computer with anti-aliasing and stuff, which I do love to do, back in the early 2000s, I used to love doing that stuff. So that becomes really cool, and it's something that you should download right now before these things will, disappear. I don't really think they will disappear. I don't think Nintendo will win any lawsuit against that, because as long as the disclaimer is there, you're fine. But it is what it is. And that's about it. That's all I got to say about that. As always, self-funded here. The only thing I ask is that you guys like the video, subscribe, and hit that bell button. As many more videos to come. Be sure, I think next week or the week after is going to be the final episode of how to build a gaming / post-production computer on the cheap. I'm going to be finishing that. It's released every Sunday as we speak, so it's probably going to be finished by then. After that, it's going to be how to build a Starkiller helmet or an Iron Man helmet or whatever from beginning to end on a 3D printer with paint and all that stuff from beginning to finished product. After that, I'm going to doing another mini-series, which I'm almost done with, which is the computer desk, which is already completed, but I'm waiting on certain things. Where I'm going to be showing you how to build a gaming desk / post-production desk for your film work and all that goodness to turn your your workspace into a very healthy working environment and really something you could be proud of to show off to your friends and everything. Really, really cool. I'm going to show you guys how to do that in that mini-series. So as always, request mini-series, and I'll continue to do them based on the magnitude of requests. Obviously, I wish I had a ton of money. I could just go out and do everything you guys request, like any type of mini-series or any type of game you want me to review and all that stuff from any system. But the thing is, limited funding, obviously. I got to do it based on the magnitude of requests. So if, let's say, somebody has 5 requests for something and somebody has 1, I'll do the one with the 5 requests. So keep those requests coming in. Eventually, when it builds up to a certain threshold, I will make them like I did with these. But definitely stay tuned for that. Have a good one, y'all. Take care. Bye.